she was left at birth, abandoned because her mother wanted a son. 25 years later, the daughter returns, not for revenge, but to confront the family that rejected her. What happens next shocks everyone and changes their lives forever. The morning sun spilled golden light over the small town of Riverton, illuminating the tidy streets, the old brick houses, and the lush gardens that families tended with care. In one of these houses, a woman named Farah stood by the nursery window, cradling a tiny bundle in her arms. The child, barely a few hours old, had soft black hair and wide, innocent eyes that blinked up at her mother. But Farah's heart was heavy with disappointment. "I wanted a son," she whispered to herself, her voice trembling. "A boy to carry my family name, not another daughter." The baby stirred, cooing softly, unaware of the words that would shape her destiny. Farah's husband, Zain, looked on silently, a mixture of sorrow and helplessness in his eyes. He loved his wife and wanted to give her happiness, but he also loved his daughter, little Amara, already a fragile life in his hands. "She's beautiful, Farah," he said softly. "She deserves love." Farah shook her head, tears welling in her eyes. I can't do this. I need a son." And with that, she made the decision that would haunt them all. Without hesitation, she arranged for Amara to be quietly sent away, claiming she had died shortly after birth. No one in the family questioned her. They were too stunned, too obedient to challenge Farah's desires. Amara's life began in a small orphanage in a distant city, where she was given only the essentials: food, clothing, and shelter. There were no lullabies from a mother, no warm hugs from a father. Her early years were filled with cold cement floors, the stern faces of caretakers, and the constant struggle to find comfort amidst neglect. Yet even in the harshness, Amara's spirit began to shine. She was curious, observant, and remarkably resilient for a child so young. As she grew older, Amara learned to rely on herself. She discovered joy in books, education, and small victories: a math problem solved, a story written, a friendship formed. By the time she was a teenager, she had a vision of a future she would create entirely on her own. She would become someone her mother could never have imagined: a woman of power, intelligence, and influence. At 18, Amara earned a scholarship to study business at a prestigious university. The transition from orphanage life to the world of opportunity was overwhelming, but she embraced it with determination. She spent nights studying, days interning, and weekends networking with people who shared her ambition. Slowly, she built a foundation that would lead her to incredible success. By the time she turned 30, Amara had become a self-made entrepreneur, running a chain of successful businesses that spanned continents. She had wealth, influence, and a reputation for brilliance in her field. Yet, despite all her achievements, a piece of her heart always longed for something more: a sense of closure, an understanding of where she had come from and why she had been abandoned. Meanwhile, in Riverton, Farah had gotten her wish. She had 3 sons over the next few years, showered with attention and love that she had denied Amara. The family prospered, wealth accumulated, and Farah's social standing grew. She never spoke of the daughter she had abandoned, nor did she ever question her own choices. Her children grew up privileged, confident, and oblivious to the sister they never knew existed. Then, 25 years later, everything changed. Amara returned to Riverton, not as the frail child they had dismissed, but as a formidable woman radiating confidence and success. She rented a small apartment near the center of town and began frequenting the cafes, shops, and streets she had once imagined from afar. Her presence was quiet at first, almost invisible, but her intent was clear. She wanted to confront her past, face the mother who had abandoned her, and see the family that had never known her. The first encounter was accidental. Farah, now older and visibly proud of her sons, was walking through the town square when she spotted a woman entering the same cafe where she often met friends. The woman's posture, her poise, the subtle air of authority. Something about her was strikingly familiar. "Do I know you?" Farah asked, squinting. "Do I know you?" Farah asked, squinting. Amara turned, her dark eyes meeting Farah's, and for the first time in decades, Farah felt a tremor of fear. "I believe you do," Amara said softly. "I'm Amara." Farah's hand flew to her mouth, the name hitting her like a physical blow. Memories she had long buried surfaced violently, the infant she had dismissed, the decision she had justified, the lies she had told everyone. My daughter?" Farah stammered. "Yes," Amara said, her voice steady but not cruel. "The daughter you left behind for a son. I've come back." The news spread quickly through the family. Farah's sons, initially skeptical, could hardly believe the woman who now stood before them was their long-lost sister. The tension in the house was palpable as Amara entered, her demeanor calm yet commanding attention from everyone. "What? Why now?" Farah asked, tears streaming down her face. "Why come back after all these years?" Amara took a deep breath. "I didn't return for revenge. I returned because I needed to understand, and perhaps to let you understand what it feels like to lose someone you claim to love." The next few days were filled with emotions too complex to untangle quickly. Amara spent time with her brothers, learning about their lives, the family business, and the luxuries she had never known. She didn't seek to disrupt, but her mere presence unsettled the household. She was a reminder of choices made, of love withheld, and of the consequences that time could not erase. One evening, as Farah sat alone in the living room, Amara entered quietly. "Mother," she began, her voice gentle, "I want to tell you something important." Farah looked up, fear and guilt mingling in her eyes. "Anything, Amara? Please, tell me what you feel." Amara hesitated, then continued. "I became who I am because of what I lacked, not because of what you gave me. I worked, I learned, I built my life without your guidance. And now I stand here not to accuse but to show you that love withheld doesn't break everyone. Some of us survive. Some of us thrive." Farah's shoulders shook. I was wrong," she whispered. "I can never undo what I did." "I can't." "You can try," Amara said softly. "You can try to make amends. That's all any of us can do in life. Try." In the following weeks, the family began to adjust. Amara shared stories of her struggles, her triumphs, and the pain she endured, which gradually softened her brothers' hearts. They saw not only a sister they had never known, but a woman whose resilience was unmatched. But the biggest revelation came when Amara disclosed a secret she had uncovered during her years away. In her research about the family's history, she discovered that Farah had not only abandoned her, but had hidden another child, a son born shortly after Amara, whose existence had been erased from public knowledge. This secret sibling, Amara revealed, had inherited a portion of the family's wealth without knowing the truth about their lineage. The revelation shocked the family to its core. Farah could hardly meet Amara's eyes, guilt and regret overwhelming her. Her sons struggled with anger, confusion, and disbelief. Yet, through it all, Amara remained composed. She understood that the past could not be changed, but the future could still be shaped with honesty and courage. Months passed, and the family began to rebuild itself in a new light. Amara, though successful and independent, chose to remain in Riverton for a while, helping her brothers understand the values of compassion, integrity, and respect for all life. Farah, humbled and repentant, attempted to mend her relationships with each child she had wronged, learning that love cannot be measured by gender or preference. Amara's return was not about wealth, revenge, or status. It was about confronting a past that had defined her and showing that even the deepest wounds could lead to growth, understanding, and reconciliation. Her presence reminded everyone that choices matter. Love cannot be substituted, and the heart, no matter how broken, has the capacity to heal. By the end of the year, the family had transformed. Farah's obsession with having a son was replaced with genuine appreciation for the children she had, both present and revealed. Amara had claimed her place not with anger, but with dignity and resilience, proving that even when abandoned, a person can rise to heights their oppressors never imagined. And in the quiet of the evening, as Amara walked through the streets of Riverton, she smiled to herself. She had returned to the place that once tried to break her spirit, and she had emerged victorious, not through vengeance, but through strength, grace, and the unyielding belief in herself. The daughter who had been left behind for a son had come home, and her return changed everything.